Ewa na ewa, londe manu, londe mi manu. Mama, akwanama, londe ma, da londe ma o, londe ma, da londe ma. Longo ye, una mwe londe mo, abade gogo. Salonde ma, abade gogo. Salonde ma, abade gogo. Ekuna ya gogo. Ewa, wana ewa, Una miwe longo mie, ekuna wewe londe mo. Ya londe ma, abade gogo. Anadu bona oga egina, anadu bona oga egina. Ewa ana ewa, londe wano na muye, londe wano na muye, londe wano na wela boga egina ye, ne wela boga egina ye. Tono egana, longe ganyuma, ana egana lobo garenye. Dua lobo anama, dua lobo. Ana ele ngabemwe, ana ele ngabemwe. Ye kuna lobo miwa, ena we galonde miwa, yalonde ma ngabade ibobo, yalonde ma ngabade ibobo. Ana elo ngabemwe. Ewala, ana ewa, ewala, ana ewa, ana elo, elawa, yana we, tomo miwa, kunu na we, londe miwa, ya dempa na bade ibobo, ana kwetumo, ana kwetumo, ana kwetumo, ana kwetumo, ana kwetumo. Ana adopanye, ana adopanye, ana mo adopanyo, malomo na wasanyo, malomo na wasanyo. Sandela juwa ba walomo, sandela juwa ba walomo. Engana wale kamombo kabalo ne kubo. Ewa ana ewa londe wanu namuye, ana ewa londe wanu namuye, londe wanu namuye. Mwadana onganwa taona duale ngabemwe wale kuna bonge muderubo. Dabaliye dulinyangela, yega no bebo aga no debo. Daba pwede liba mwalo, gayele liba teo, gayele liba wolomo. Dale yarela duwa mwebu, nyamuwe da mwongwe, nyanga duba duga mwanukwe. Gedale yamalo wawo bubaleye. Bobaleye pelaga yebo, bobaleye pelaga yebo. Ya moyo, ya mo babale mema, malone bobaleye yema, ya mo baba bale yema, ya mo baba bale yema. Nwadanga delu molebo, da dema badu mama yamodia, dedia ke ya balu wawe. Ya no wabo vale yinga, ya no wabo vale yinga pelaga yedemo. Ewa ana ewa londe wanu namuye, ewa ana ewa londe wanu namuye. Ana ewa. Analine, Paragalo never, Analine, Paragalo never, Anaelo, Malono, Nasamio, Malono, Nasamio, Monge by Casamio, Monge by Casamio, Monge by Casamio. When a new wing and one, when a new wing and one, what a good number, Gallo, never one, what a number, Gallo, never I love my young yellow, come over. I love a yellow, Niniva. Abalo never, Abale, Abalo never, Abale, Abalo never, Abale. Yolinya, Yolomana, Yolinya, Yolomana, Yolinya, Yolomana. Malo never, Abale, Malo never, Abale,
Okay, good evening. Let's see here. Just good evening, good evening. So I want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. This is the Examiner's Sunday's edition. I want to apologize for running here a little bit than the usual time, 7 o'clock. It means some Saturday can be a very hectic day. If this is the first time, we say you are wholeheartedly welcome. By the way, you can also check our YouTube page where the live stream, of course, you have so many alternatives so you can follow. You can check the YouTube page and subscribe as well. Mr. Newman, Menzo, good evening. Mr. Kennedy, good to have you here. Hey, Joe A. Lee, our man Joe. Good to have you here always. Deborah Gorich, good evening. Good morning, depending on your location. Venetia's as well. Welcome, Zizi Newman Menzayo from Heaven's Son. My goodness. Good evening. Welcome, and all of our viewers and listeners, Ty and Sylvia, Alice. Good evening. I have to reach out. Let me not do it yet. I know I heard the news already, but I have to reach out. Regina Davis, Emant Talu, and the Minnesota politicians work from the avenue of, I think he will be having a discussion from the pending budget discussion avenue. And Deborah, good to have you here. Elizabeth, good morning, good evening, good afternoon to your locations. Alexander, good to have you. And Lisa Peters, good evening. Thank all of you. Let's have a conversation here that is ongoing in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia and many other places. But of course, our own handful. So we will keep more focused on what is happening to the motherland, some of the information that we are hearing, and what is here. Now, the interpretation of so many things is, I told you, we listened, we do not judge. Okay, well, all right, that's good. Let's see whether you will not judge. But again, we want to say thank you so much for always being part of this program. It's always good to be here, as usual, so that we can have these national conversations. Welcome to the show. I'm Alfonso Z and so the Liberia Public Radio 10 LPR TV. Let's get the ball rolling right here, right now. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. I am Alfonso Z and so of the Liberia Public Radio 10 LPR TV. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you for joining us this beautiful Sunday evening. As usual, this is your program that comes your way every Sunday here, The Examiner. Let's take a quick commercial break, and I will be right back for us to take on the conversation pending and what we are hearing from inside Liberia, the self-interpretations as a result of the Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia leaving a vacuum. Now, who want to fill in that vacuum? The law apparently is on the head of the implementers of the law of laws and order to rule and order in the country. That's the executive branch of government. Let's see what happened. Two scrambling as their speaker. They're going to be taking charge. Comments coming from sitting lawmakers, of course. So then, who is creating these unnecessary political tension for our people? I'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Do you want to share your events with the world? Why not contact us? We are Liberia Public Radio, LPR. We are the specialists in advertisements, commercials, radio and TV services. We have the professionals that can help you sell your products and provide live coverage of all events such as weddings, conventions, graduations, reunions, anniversaries, sports, birthdays, baby showers, religious activities, funerals, and many more. Take your phone right now and call any of the following numbers: 682-433-8802, 267-648-6089, 484-786-3337, or 916-533-2048. Our customer service representatives are waiting to take your calls and give you the needed assistance. It is LPR, the home of excellent media services and your friends in business. Hello listeners, this is Mazola, the lover boy. I'd like to invite you to this exciting program. It is called Dancing for Jesus. It is intended to play beautiful inspirational music to help you turn your life to God. Join me on every Sunday from 12 noon to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is our way of showing appreciation to God for the good things He has done for us and continue to do. Don't miss this opportunity. Join Mazola Gizi on every Sunday from 12 noon to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the program Dancing for Jesus. Please be there because I will be here to rock it up for you.
Okay, there you have it. Dancing for Jesus with our own man, the lover boy, Manzola Gisi, based in Philadelphia. And exactly what you are hearing, we involve in multitudes of community initiative, be it wedding, be it convention, be it reunions, whatever event that is so memorable to be a funeral. It's whatever it is. It doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in Liberia, we are right here in the USA. So just reach out and we will work out the modality to make sure that we give that courage. So we do not just want to prioritize politicians, but we also engage our community. Evidence was yesterday. There was a big event here yesterday. Simultaneously, one here in my own ocean state of Rhode Island, and the other one was in Philadelphia. Manzola Gisi was right on top of it. So yesterday evening here, you see us coming late here. Too much work with our playmate Jack at our boy. So last night, Jack was all out in this event where we serve as a master of ceremony in a colorful event of a friend and a brother, Jefferson Gray, who is a resident of Ocean State of Rhode Island, in the beautiful, colorful ceremony. That was the 60th birthday anniversary, hosted by his wife. It was colorful. The color yesterday was gold and black. And trust me, it was great. It was jam-packed. The city of Worcester, Massachusetts. People came from Maryland, Baltimore, Atlanta, Georgia, New Jersey. I mean, all over. It was quite fascinating because there are some of our followers we don't know this lady came and just came rushing. How you doing, Mr. Sawyer? I said, who are you? So, oh, I'm one of your followers. Oh, so really? Where are you from? From Maryland to Baltimore. Multiple of them. But guess what? Some was fan of the liberal, but I can say majority of the folks were on the side of the independent because we keep the new fair and balanced, not the life of Cecil Goyo, Jared Washington was there. The entire Washington crew, they were there. You know, Rhode Island is the homeland of Joseph Newman Boycott. So the movement chair, Jerry is the chapter chair. He was there. The chair of Boycott Group, Mr. Norris were there, and I mean everybody. Our own local community chairman, board of directors, Chairman Latro. It was a very beautiful, a lot of prominent community leaders. They were all there. But anyway, and so that's what we do. So it doesn't matter where you are. When there's no way, we can figure it out. We can find a way possible so that we can make your day. And that's exactly what we do. You want people to MC your program, let us know. From the Midwest, since he's a talented guy, he will go there. He will do it. There's a little soft charges just imply, you know, because you got to go to main warehouse to get a nice suit and all of that. So it's all about it. But anyway, today is Sunday. Again, our sincere apologies, running a little bit late than usual time. We always here. I want to say good morning to Senior Brother watching inside Liberia, to Mr. Soul himself, Joyce. Good to have you here. To Mr. Basu, good to have you. We intend to activate this line here this evening, and hopefully you can place a call because what is unfolding inside Liberia, it's not just only the government affairs. We all as a citizen do have a shared responsibility. And it is time for us to be serious as a people, as a nation. But sadly, we all support people for different reasons and undo the interest of the country. And so it is very much important. A lot of media outlets, because saw the release from Front Page Africa regarding the death threat of Speaker Fanatic Kofa. Our guys also reported that there was a statement coming from, I'll call them the renegade lawmakers, because it is so sad. People who make the law and they can't get the concept of the laws that they make. As the result, you take it to the court that has the constitutional authority to interpret, even though you made it, but you do not get a clear concept of it. You made it for yourself. But there's a greater portions of that law that also has something to do with the Constitution. And the only institution that has the authority in the land to interpret, if you misconstrue, if you misinterpret, is the Supreme Court, not any of the lower courts. If it comes from the lower court and then the lower court gives its decisions and you are not satisfied, then it moves to the upper, which happens to be the Supreme Court. And when the Supreme Court interprets, or when the Supreme Court comes up with a verdict, or whatever term that it is used, in this case, this Latin word that was used seems to be driving people nuts, and they have different interpretation. So people are cheering up. But to be honest, out of the sound bites that we've seen, listening, and coming from nouns, the other co-factor is adding to it because they have to put it as sort of iron fist as well, because it's like we can sit here and let this thing go down. By the way, to the analysts, the link is all out there. If anybody who thinks they want to make a contribution this evening, you want to come in, just throw your email in there, or we want to put a number out here you can call. So a few days we saw the release from the group calling itself Majority Black. Majority Black. I don't know. This is unbelievable. So the group now they put out a statement. You know, this is the origins of this whole Majority Black. This guy with this Nigeria hair on his he get a history of removing speaker. This guy here, and Koga. This Koga guy here, he seems to be a controversial guy because there's a history, there's a pattern. Now the victims of the other speaker seems to be. But what Kofa is doing, and I personally, that's my view, which I agree with, is to protect the laws of the land. He has never refused that. He has never said any time, even up to the dates of the Supreme Court decision, Kofa and his group, their tone was conciliatory. They were more or less peaceful. Or they were saying we were going to reach out to our folks. Unlike the group of Samuel Koga, Marcus Thomas, Fode, this is just unbelievable. It's all about themselves. But we as a citizens, you see, that's the difference. And because these politicians have managed to so much control our lives, we have surrendered all to them. All of our rights, we are surrendered to them. Because all what is happening, I have not seen any out of the 73, the constituencies these people represent to gather and say, wait a minute, you need to come and tell us the understanding. Now you guys were fighting among yourselves. You were acting like a little babies, toddlers. People were babysitting you. Since you are a grown man and you cannot make an informed decision, you have a self-interpretation to the constitutions. You profess to be the one that made the law, but you do not have the concept, the understanding of the law, because they were interpreting it in their own way to suit their political taste. They went up to the higher court of the land, the Supreme Court. And how we saw the city, the country was on edge to see what the Supreme Court was going to be doing. And the Supreme Court was very calculative. They look at the laws, there's no circumstantials to see what happened, the processes that involved that led to the impeachment of the speaker by these renegade group of people who claims to be lawmaker, but it was just all about themselves and put all of these charges. Yes, they have the right to do so, but it has to go through the process. But where were they even when Kofa contested it? These were some of the things, these were the people that even voted Kofa. But all of this here, and one thing, if I've never agreed with Yeke Kaluba in some of his talking, even though he has much, but we found out he's one of those that is very, very much consistent. I do not agree with his approach to issue, but hey, everybody get their own way to address issue. It's all about people wants to be on these World Tech committees because they want to plug things inside there, and then at the end of the day, they take it out. It does not reach to the intended group of purpose. They don't reach out to them. This is where all this fight is coming from. Now the harmony is in the hands of the government of the Republic of Liberia, headed by Joseph Newman Boykai, who is the sitting president of the Republic of Liberia. There comes a time people need to show leadership, and it's one of these times as we speak now, where I've never seen country, we are not in the process of, remember we have a 5-man council, one living divided Liberia, Greater Liberia, Central Liberia, Sawyer were on the other side. You have the other group on the other side. The listening to was on the other end there, and the whole country was chaotic, more or less. That brought in this proportional government, factional government representation. We have long surpassed that. So why should we think of anything that would get us to go back to where we came from? And people are in the country, and you, the citizens, people that are in the various constituencies, we can see what happened. We know what is happening here, and we cannot call our lawmakers to tell them to tell us what they represent. They don't go back to their constituencies. They get out and make unilateral decision, no consultation. They don't even have offices. The only offices they have is the Capitol building. They go there. How often they stay there is nothing. It's all about politics. You don't see them work in hands. Everything is politically aligned. Unity Party support Unity Party operations. CDC support CDC operations. The independent, they call themselves independent, but they are not. These people are polarized. They have their side. Everything is being regulated by the executive branch. You don't see them making independent judgment. When someone says yes, they are independent, even if they are for a particular party, At times, for God's sake, they raise their finger and disagree with their own party's ideology. They do not have no political ideologies in the first place. And this is why they are running from party to party. They are not willing to build institutions, to have institutions in place. And that's why they are jumping here and there. Wherever they see the daylight, that goes there. When darkness falls, they're out of that place. And we are not holding them accountable. We are not holding them responsible. We cheer them up, we support them, we celebrate their action. These are people who are now they are lawyers for us. They are our Antonies. We're going to deal with them for the next 6-9 years. The representative, the senator. We are not having the conversation that we should have as a people, as a nation, seeing these kind of people. Who they are. It's all about themselves. To come today in the form of being the Messiah, to be the one to redeem, to resurrect people, and they eventually have you, they drown you into a deep sea. And everything is the people. So they use people, they use our people as a scapegoat to get to build their political wealth. You have one group now saying tomorrow they're going to be going to discuss the budget, even though they went to the Supreme Court. So now, this Latin word used by the court, I'm wondering whether there was an in-depth explanation. But common sense would suggest, and when the law tells you, yes, because the word notwithstanding that was used, it means that something was unusual, something was not right, but that is being ignored, all because they want to fit it in their own desire to interpret it and present it. And they have people that are just agreeing with it. Because when the word notwithstanding, if it is used, then there is a condition. Yes, you did every other thing, everything seemed to be right, but because of this condition, it was not properly done. So go and do it all over. Go and do it all over. That's what the Supreme Court is saying. And maybe let's simplify this here in our own context. You bought a car. Yes, you pay for the car. They will keep one of their keys and give you one. They're going to hold on with the title. But buying a car is a one portion. Buying a new car, the dealer there is to, even though now and then, and this is one of the reasons now in most places, I don't know what others say, but now most of the places, even when you buy, you're taking the car and the dealer, they will do all of the paperwork. They make sure you carry whether you get your old car, you got to carry your proof of insurance, proof of registration. They either transfer it, you want to do a different thing. Because it's not just only about buying the car. They want to make sure that car is insured, it meets public safety requirements. And part of that, you must have an insurance. You must be a license holder, not just because you can drive. They will ask for all of these before getting in the streets to move about. But you buy the car and you didn't do anything. You know insurance, not even a liability, nothing. You jump and the police stop you. They can tow your car. Even though you get a license, even though the documents is originally in your name, but you did not go to DMV to register it, or there's no insurance. That's what the Supreme Court is saying. That's what the Supreme Court is saying. That's the simplest interpretation that fits our own situation. That's what the Supreme Court is saying. But these people, they are in the tendency of turning things upside down to suit their way. And we allow them to get away with it. If they're not respecting the Supreme Court did not tell them you were wrong, you were right, and this and that. The Supreme Court did not lay herself on either of the side. They are just saying because it is this guy, Kofa, complained because he felt the due process was not given to him. And this is where this anti-VIRES came from with the Supreme Court. Something that was not done right, it was just not done. There is no any other word that we can deploy to fit that situation. I don't know where I thought I had this picture here. I'm trying looking for here. This is why this guy went running to the court, running to the place there. Tom Fowler, on the other hand, and he just ran in there, put his left hand up. You know, God doesn't like bad things. That left hand would be the bad hands for our country when it comes to concession, to dubious acts. And that's why he put his left hand, and nobody even get a guts to say, no, that hand and not the right hand. Put the other, you put in the wrong hand up. And all of them sat right in that room. Nobody said anything. It's the same way they all dined with the wrongs of the country. Now, you went to the court. I'm wondering if the court has said, well, Mr. Kofa, to your complaint hereby denied. The process went through. Then it means we're going to respect the laws because it's in your favor. Man, the Supreme Court said your process, your method of removing this guy, and you can clearly see the desperations of these people, the desperations, and this is heavily, heavily politically motivated. We all have all reason now to hold this government accountable to be part of what is happening. There's no way to sugarcoat it. There were a lot of indicators that gave these people legs to do what they did, and the president and the people talking about separation of states, law, this and that, give me a break. So why they call the police to go to, why they know what, why, if there's a separation state of power and they are so much to be the defenders of the law, why they call the Liberia National Police? The Liberia National Police is not under the legislature. They're not to the executive mansion they went. So why, who sent them there in the first place? They should have left it with Capitol Building. Capitol Building is a separate entity. Yeah, you would tell me, say they are there to provide law and order. So law and order, they runs under the administrations of the government. They said they're supposed to leave it, they leave it like that, let them crack their one another heads. These branches of government, yes, they are separate, but there is a coordination amongst them. No one works effectively without getting the support of the other. That's what makes it a government. It's coordinated. You can't stand on your own. You can't stand on your own. Why you think when the government comes up with a bill, they send it to the legislature to take a review, to discuss it? It's because they work together jointly. Why you think when court takes a decision when someone is convicted, what happens? It goes back to the executive branch, because the executive branch does have the constitutional power to enforce the rules of the country. And that's why you see sheriff come in, it takes you to a correction facility. So they are there laying on one another to have a country to run fully. But when it comes to things to suit our taste, they say, oh, we don't want anybody to something inside. But when civilian, when people, angry crowds to get at you, then you say you're going to call the police. Why are you calling the police? You're going to call your Capitol Hill police. And Joseph Newman Boyka, this guy who was working in government for the longest period of time, and this Unity Party seems to be a very controversial, and the history of Unity Party now, I think it needs to be questioned. You're never saying anything. This guy who is looking for this job, and we know it is political, every sitting president wants to have both houses perhaps in their control, which is okay. But this guy, a couple of months, he went to this process. And he didn't see his way through. Unless in a interim time, the president And the speaker decided to travel, which is okay. I don't think this speaker has been that obstructive to the agenda of this government. And all of a sudden, we saw this whole thing coming up. Okay, he was quiet because he wanted to allow the process to play out. Probably, no. The Supreme Court take a decision. The Supreme Court telling you, you go back and do it the right way. If you have the 49% okay, so why you can't take this in sections and put on the floor, let the votes, let everything, what needs to take place for us to take place? And they are sounding very, very much desperate. You can see the anger in them. Perhaps they wanted a clear-cut decision from the Supreme Court. That did not happen. The Supreme Court was very calculative. They looked at the laws inside, outside, and took a constitutional. Because, we have this sort of self-interpretations of things to ourselves by right. So the legislature now, they're going by the by right law. That's the general concept of people by right. Okay, but Supreme Court, they don't go on circumstantial. They don't go by right. They tell you what the law says. And that's why when you go before the investigators, it is quite different. You and I are having a conversation. It's supposed to be this way. The law can't say supposed to. The law will tell you this is how it should be. And it will point out those ills in the law that you should follow, you didn't follow. And that's exactly what I was talking about here. You register a car, yes, the dealer will give you their car, the dealer will give you the key. If you choose to do your finance registration with DMV, transfer, license plate, you want new license plate, insurance, and all of that. These are some of the things. Now they are changing. Before you do anything, I don't know about all of the state, but for the most part now, before they want to make sure, because they don't want to have the by right situation that we always have in our country. By right, it's supposed to be this way. We are running a country, a sovereign nation, and in other words, for a nation to be sustained, and in other words, for a nation to be you must have laws on the book, and no one should be above those laws. But you have Richard Cohn and the Unity Party people, led by renegade Samuel Koga, the Marco Thomas, and other people. They are turning the decisions of the Supreme Court upside down. Take the legs, put it up 8 feet, and take the hair, put it down 12 feet. Because when your feet is begin to think as a human being, now then you're no longer a human being. It is your hair that should be thinking. So when you take your hair and carry 12 feet and take the feet and put it 8, then literally you are abnormal in your thinking. Kofa has never been vehement to say anyhow. All he wants is to be on the side of the law, and that the laws of the land must prevail. He has never to reject or bend and page. People who elect him, they can do it. And they just come with this corny majority black. What the heck is that? So you're in majority, then that's it. So 20 of thousands of people get together tomorrow, or maybe surprise the entire populations of the voting black and put together, say the president should step down, or this one should do it. Then you're calling what? All of the citizens, is that the kind of country nation we want us to run? People who tends to be the one that promulgate the laws, and they are unable, they are unfit, they do not have the concept, they do not have the understanding, and they were behaving like children. So the Supreme Court, the higher court of the land, somebody who doesn't want confusion will say, okay, this is what you said. So let's take it to the court. Let the court give us an interpretation. That's what court fighting is, people did. If you listen to most of the conversation coming only today, Melvin Cole, and that's what happened when you continue to push people over the edge. They get a saying when the going gets tough and the tough gets going, you cannot push a man to the extent that he reaches the wall. And there's no way. The wall is a very solid object. You cannot go through the wall. And when he or she cannot go through the wall, what he's going to come our way, he's going to bounce back. And in the process of bouncing back, it can come with so many things for self-defense. I don't understand. And it is glaring. Their action is being facilitated by the executive, giving the so-called guys, people, cars, security, and all of that. So maybe we're going to see what? We're going to see maybe one person will get a 4 o'clock to go park their vehicle, in the speaker parking lot, and maybe the other one will come and cross over. So at what point in time? So this makes what has been interpreted. What next? Do they have to go back to the court for a clear understanding? Or they want the court to say, okay, that word, pound 1 3 talking, you get back, you not get back. Is that what they want the court to say? That's not how the court operates. The Supreme Court understand the fact that this legislature is a unique body of itself and respect their work they do. But was certain thing that was not done correctly. And that is why I say, okay, in all of the makes of all of the misgivings and whatever it is, just go back and do it the right way. So what is it? Why they feel that they are just above the law? And they do not get it. They get it, but they are doing it on purpose because they want to be political. And we know they occupy political position. So then what happens to the executive branch of government that enforces the rules the order to when it comes from the court? The interesting thing I want to wait and see where the executive, who they're going to give credence to. Is that the cone guy, the left-hand guy, or the other guy with the right hand? Let him come out and say. The president can tell his people to stand down. The other people can't do anything. And everybody, they must be getting some sort of absolute support that you don't know, I don't know. But literally we're seeing what is happening. What kind of country do we have? The leaders are not willing to take charge. To what extent? Should we have mere anarchy before somebody come and take charge? At what point in time? Now this case is out of the court. At what point in time the executioner, that's the government, the executive that enforces whatever comes from the court, at what point in time would they intercede? When? I listened to Coker the other day when he was entering whatever fence, I don't know, what are the hotel fence or whatever he said. The only thing I bereave. You're not bereaved. We would never, those are the words I will use, would never close in the door of compromise, close into, slam into the decisions of the Supreme Court because they have their own understanding in their head. Something is running down. Let's take this break. And unless you want to join me, that's okay. If you don't even join me, the labor, they can stay away because when the labor comes, it can be a mess. So if you don't want to come, that's fine. But I'm going to be putting the number out here very shortly. And you have to speak. Just tell us what you feel. It doesn't matter which side you fall on, your Unity Partisan, CDC, ANC, and all of Tiawong Bongo, all of those plenty parties. And that's the result. If you have a very weak civil society, These are the kind of things that can happen. And you have a civil society that is compromised, that is more or less political than to being an advocate for justice, peace. If you don't have this sort of progressive movement, not the overnighting, and as some people call them, that's auto A, and that's what you have in the country. Let's take a break, and I will be right back. And by the way, you can also advertise with us if you have a business, meaning business inside Liberia, right here in the US. It doesn't matter what sort of business, we can give you a facelift. I will be right back.
Do you want to share your events with the world? Why not contact us? We are Liberia Public Radio, LPR. We are the specialists in advertisements, commercials, radio and TV services. We have the professionals that can help you sell your products and provide live coverage of all events, such as weddings, conventions, graduations, reunions, anniversaries, sports, birthdays, baby showers, religious activities, funerals, and many more. Take your phone right now and call any of the following numbers: 682-433-8802, 267-648-6089, 484-786-3337, or 916-533-2048. Our customer service representatives are waiting to take your calls and give you the needed assistance. It is LPR, the home of excellent media services, and your friends in business. Hello listeners, this is Mazola, the lover boy. I'd like to invite you to this exciting program. It is called Dancing for Jesus. It is intended to play beautiful inspirational music to help you turn your life to God. Join me on every Sunday from 12 noon to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is our way of showing appreciation to God for the good things He has done for us and continue to do. Don't miss this opportunity. Join Mazola Gizi on every Sunday from 12 noon to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the program Dancing for Jesus. Please be there because I will be here to rock it up for you.
Okay, good to have you. Those are commercials right there. The Lover Boy is always on every Sunday. I believe he was on today, but I kind of from last night activities. Yeah, so that was it. So I'm going to put a number out here. And if you wish, you can also have your say into what is happening in your country, what you stand as a Liberian. We shouldn't leave this thing with the people, though. We should not leave these things with the politicians to direct our lives, because this is a number 682-433-8802. That's the number to call to participate. Just in case, let me make sure the line is properly activated. So if you have a say into this whole thing, and we can have a conversation as well. Okay, I believe the line is already on. So this is what front page is reporting. Late this evening, I believe. Let me just read it. Liberia's Speaker Office reports death threat. Reports death threat. That's the office of the Speaker, J. Fanati Kofa. Monrovia, Liberia, the office of Speaker Councilor J. Fanatic Kofa has reported a death threat allegedly sent to the speaker via an unknown number, warning him to resign or face fatal consequences. According to a message sent by front page, that's front page, we not do it, that's front page. We don't want to write anything here and just put our own label. That's front page, they have the credit. It's coming from them. Front page, Africa. The alleged threat stated, Kofa, the speaker job is for UP. That's what we have seen. We yet to validate. We yet to validate this, but we are just reading on the surface what we're seeing being reported by front page. We are not there to edify on a course or whatever. We're just reading what was gathered from by front page, and they are reporting in the public. According to a message saying by front page, the alleged threat stated, Kofa, the speaker job is for UP. Our party won't sit there and reward its enemies. We will kill you if we have to. Hint to a wise sufficient. Resign now. I'm not going to be reactionary, but it's a concern has been reported by front page message sent to the Speaker of the House of Representatives, J. Fanatic Kofa. Now, I know in this here, when something more or less is written, whether it's audio, whether it's a written one, more or less there's a concern. So we're going to see whether investigators are going to jump on this and to what intensity, to what extent they're going to follow through. Yes, somebody can block their number, but they can go back to that call and the provider can decode and know where that call is coming from. If this is true, what front page is reporting, well, what it is a political ploy. I'm an open-minded guy who always discusses I'm not like the liberals, the Jerry Washington type, and there are people who they just look one side of the world. Well, what is a ploy coming from the Kofa side to magnify their case? That's another component of it. So we're going to look at it, but the only people that can authenticate that is the investigators. The investigator can be the one to act to make sure that this somebody within did it or is coming from outside, and who is this person, and whoever person did it, whether he or she has linked with another political party, decision maker, or whatever, or somebody just fall from the blue sky and doing something of his own, or something. Maybe said man sitting out somewhere down the other town who is bad. Okay, let me see here. Hold on one second, caller. I think this line here. Hold on one second, caller. Let me see. I see a missed call. I don't know how can you want to. I want to call you. I'm going to be calling you back right now. Let me see. Yeah, they line to a lot of things going on. I said the other day about just waiting. Let me see. I see a 443 number is calling here. Let me call this caller back here. Yeah, can you lower your monitor? Yeah. Can you lower your monitor, please? I'm getting the feedback.
Yeah, you got it.
Much
okay. How you doing?
Good. Good evening, sir. Mr. Mamlo?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Hold on. Yeah, happy Sunday, good Sunday. How are you today?
I'm good. How are yourself?
Okay, so help me out here a little bit. This thing's here, it has to be, we all got to coordinate because more or less it's about our country as well. Let me put the other trouble man here on yet. Breakable, just hold on. After Mr. Mangolo, you come. Help me to understand right now. They went to the, I would say we are part of it, it's of our country. We went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court takes a decision. And here we are, people having this sort of self-interpretation with respect. Do we have to go back to the Supreme Court, or what language does the Supreme Court need to speak now for us to understand?
The Supreme Court is not, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear, go ahead.
The Supreme Court is not are responsible for our ignorance. The Supreme Court made a clear decision on what it said. Now, it is the job of the lawyers who represent each side to explain it to them. It is the job of the press to read it. The Supreme Court don't speak in local language. They speak most of the time in the highest dictionary of grammar. So for somebody to say they didn't understand what the Supreme Court was saying is a lie. They know what the Supreme Court said. They don't want to abide. And if they don't abide, there are certain punishments for people who try to circumvent the Constitution after the Supreme Court has made a decision. When you decide to counter what the Supreme Court has said and disobey, it is a form of treason. First, they will call you for contempt. And you can't give them, they can charge you with treason because you put in the country at risk. These people also have decided to do budget review and all of that. Listen, the thing is bigger than this. If you go and mess around and say you do a budget and the Senate refuses to take it, where does this budget go?
What is a guarantee, Maulot? I want to put you on hold. There are other folks calling in yet. Want to send it, what is the evidence? What is the guarantee that the Senate will refuse? So we have to take approach from the grassroots, the origins of their case and stuff. But I just hold your peace. Let me just say I have two other callers on the line. Let them incite their view. Maybe they have a contrary view to your argument here to give everybody the fair share. Breakable from Washington, D.C. area. Breakable, are you there? Breakable, are you there? Okay, I think he's still breaking things. So let me go to Evis.
Are you hearing me? Are you?
Yeah, we don't have time to waste your.
Sorry, I hear.
Okay, where you want to break this evening? Let's hear you.
No, I will not bring nothing. I don't want me school. No, the man got let the line just say everything. The issue by people arguing is not because they didn't know why it's happening. Why the Supreme Court said. The senior Supreme Court says is 100% open for honesty. But if the honesty when you do it, say that the honesty because they want to interpret in their own will. So they care. If you test my 18, the test my 18 doing, doing not correct. You do it above the law. So it's not correct. You got to go back and do the they have to interpret their own way. You expect the Supreme Court to say, oh, you're wrong, you're wrong. If you just explain in a way that you don't honestly, all you're doing before you are not correct. Go back to what you should do to make it correct. Even if your law, your own law, or pass the law. So go back and do it. Apart from that, look, you see, what you just said, you see, another people doing it, it not only get no doing it. The hierarchy, the government itself, they don't do it. The government will very serious to itself, but now everything over. The other person on one of the nurse, but now it's over. Could you imagine? The thing that can very pain me is how will you test me with you on a tour? Then behind the person, they own the person. You come out in a country, you don't sure.
No, let's get it right. Let's get it right.
Clear.
Let's get it right. Nothing wrong with president taking people on the tour, but the aftermath of the tour and all of that, and that's what we are looking at. But go ahead and make your point.
No, it doesn't matter. But the matter of fact is, it gets you happy. Mr. So, you myself went out, and something really happened to me. You come out in the country. One is Tuesday. Why as a head of the country or anything? What is it that give me a little bit guarantee? In fact, your own people, which they say people that do it incorrect, the people that get control wrong, they put the people. Your minister now going up to people to serve them. What is all as a result?
Okay.
Tell people they don't go do that.
All right. Let me hold your peace.
Let me settle.
All right. Let me hold your
So
peace.
let's say you must say, okay, stop it. No man should go there.
All right. Hold your peace. We'll have people. I will give you 30 seconds to climax. Let me bring in legendary Terry Collins, senior analyst of the Liberal Corporate Radio, minister in the politician. What, they are building a new office for you here? Okay, let me go to Elvis. Terry, good to have you here this Sunday evening. Hopefully, you had a great Sunday. Elvis.
Yeah, this is so you doing. Hello to you and Terry there.
Yes, look, man, Elvis. I don't know. Do we need to create another court above the Supreme Court? Maybe super Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia to get for us to get to an understanding of where we are as a people. What's your thought?
All right. My thought is that we have low self-esteem as a people. We don't respect ourselves. We don't respect ourselves. So the laws that we put there to help guide us as a civilized people, we don't respect those laws. And those institutions that are supposed to interpret those laws, we don't respect them because deep down we don't respect ourselves. We see black people, we see our own countrymen, and we think we're smarter than them by virtue of the position that we hold. Look, in this very country, no matter if you're Democrat or Republican, and the Supreme Court said, bam, you say, you know what? We give it a go. They got a power. They made a decision, we'll follow it. Regardless of where you stand politically. But we in Liberia, we want to challenge everything because if it doesn't serve our political interests, we want to challenge it. But let me say this. We are lay people. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know anybody else on the panel who's a lawyer on the phone. When you read the Latin phrase ultra virus, ultra means beyond, you know, and I guess virus means authority or beyond your authority, your constituted authority. So they tell you that you went and select somebody outside of your authority.
Okay, yeah, so let's simplify. Yeah, Evans, let's simplify this. I will be one of them. When they say beyond your authority, what is the simplest? Let's simplify this to the lowest thing, as if we are in a mathematics class, because when it says simplify to the lowest thing, you do it to the extent that it can't go nowhere, it can't go anymore again. That's where you need to start. So what is what is lacking here? If it is beyond, when something beyond, what is it?
You know that old saying in Liberia, you know, people I get small in South go back. A man used to tell me, I give you push, you want to take ya. They give you a little authority and you want to go beyond that scope. So what it means for me, Mr. So is that the authority you have is the goal. Once you have 40 or more people on your side than you have on the other side, you can have quorum. You can have a session by yourself. That's it. You don't have the power to select a new speaker. That is beyond the power of those 47 or 43 people. It's beyond their power. The only way they can select a new speaker is by removing the speaker with 49 votes, and then they can elect a new speaker. Doing that without that, you're going beyond the power that you have. You can't do it. It's against the law. That's what the Supreme Court said. Okay. Nobody can interpret it any other way than that.
Okay. So hold on one second. My analyst has joined me. So we have talked about the problems. We don't usually talk about it, just talk about it. We also put forward solutions. What are the solutions? Is whatever your own understanding, your interpretation.
One second, so please send me the link. Let me join you guys tonight.
Okay, yeah, it's already there. Yeah, so Maulot, I believe you talk about the ills. What is the solution now? Send out the solution.
Let me tell you something. You know, the so-called majority is bouncing on one statement that the Supreme Court made, that they read that the law allows the minority to force the majority to come to session. But they're not going to, they didn't go further to say how. So they, the court, are not going to tell the minority how. That in grammar, that in the English language gives the authority to the speaker to choose which way he wants to do it. It doesn't mean that they don't have control, because the law says
Evers, the link is
the
already to you.
minority under his gavel can force them to come. In America, in American jurisprudence, the speaker has sent for people at their houses to bring them to session. They can do it.
Okay.
I don't know if
That is-
Liberia has that kind of,
Okay.
The sheriff and thing got that kind of force to do it.
Okay, tell us
But
quickly
if
your
they
final.
say the minority can force you to come, he can try to be civil and talk to you. But if you refuse, they can bring you bodily to
All
the
right.
Capitol building.
Thank you so much.
So this thing here, the president needs to talk to the people.
Talk to you.
Otherwise,
Okay.
they will have our own ruler country.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Manglot. So let's go to breakable warrior solution to this problem. Let's make you the head of the Supreme Court, even though you're on a decision on
No.
what will be here, but let's
No.
hear you.
It's the whole thing, this whole solution is the president. For
Why?
now,
Why?
the reason is simple. As I was saying first, he had your ministers, he had your budget, he had everything. The people that you recognize in a group of people that we're discussing, if you recognize that rebel side, then they have power. If you recognize Fernando Cooper as a legal speaker, definitely. Look,
Okay, thank you so much.
it just took a few minutes.
What's
few hours, few
what's
days.
your solution now? What's next out of the Supreme Court? So where are you now? What next? 15
For
seconds.
me, what next?
Mhm.
What next now? For me, the only thing next is for Labrador photo. The Labrador said that to get a law in the hand. Because if we allow the people, look.
Oh no, we don't. No, you hold on. You hold on. You in my house. Don't. That's how you can start from your majority. You can't visit my home. You want to be on my home. Now, we will not condone any terms of violence when you say people, but I'll give you the opportunity to say when you say take the law in their hand. What are you talking about?
Taking the law in the hand is no. They had to show the people that they don't let it.
Mr. Gia, I'm not saying
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
wrong. All right. Okay. Thank you so
And
much.
so let me let one. The team allow them to about the budget. Then take it to
Okay, Breakable, I gotta go. My analysts are here. Thank you so much. We've been here for a little while. Okay, let me welcome. Let me see. I think a gentleman called. Maybe. Okay, let me just see. Let me call him back, guys. Quickly, I believe he is from Virginia. Let me call you back, Mr. Gia Julu, I believe. Gentlemen, I'll be joining you all. Let me see. I think the other folks were also went straight to voicemail. Yeah. Hello. I guess Mr. Gia. Am I calling the name right?
Yeah, you got my name right.
Okay, good evening. Happy Sunday. How are you today?
How are you?
Good. Look, so Mr. JK, if you will to call you, there are things are going on in Liberia. I don't know. So where are we? We have apparently now everybody claiming to be speakers. Everybody want to discuss the budget. And this is going on. Even though we're from the Supreme Court already, and the Supreme Court certain thing was not done right, go and do it all over. Is there some missing language here? You think from your end by the Supreme Court that have created this sort of convoluted situation, or we just being deliberate in our action? Let me hear you.
Look, the Supreme Court is clear.
Okay.
The Supreme Court have already spoken. The majority group and their leader is called Mr. Walker, President Walker. He is responsible for them.
Hold on. You said just President Walker is a member of the majority?
Yeah, he was responsible for that. That money when they got going in the hotel. But believe me, when you do proper investigation, Walker in there. Because he's traveling around pretending like he's doing that. He the one supporting that to do what they are doing. So in that Sunday, people need to be say, oh, no, him and there, oh, him there. We have the The same way we accuse all the other presidents who were president for Liberia, we accuse them of doing various things. That's how it will be accused. I supported him. I'm not expecting him for him to be doing what he is doing.
Okay, now because I'm about to ask you a second question, whether your statement was political, but now you saying it's coming from you, not me. I didn't even bring that up. You say you supported him and you didn't.
Yeah, I supported him. Yeah.
So what were the factors first? We got to hold people responsible. What were the factors that you consider for which you gave a support first and foremost?
The first thing I supported Mr. Baga for because the war and economic concord, which was very important and dear to me.
Oh.
So I wanted to make that very clear when he went to Pennsylvania. He made it very clear with his sweat and blood, he would make sure that we got justice. That's why I decided to follow him. And then now it looked like he flip-flopping. You hear the water getting in there together. Look, the thing that happening in Liberia, I only blame the Liberian people. They allow things to happen. If we're other countries, the people not get on the street, then the international community will respond. But Liberia, I don't know why it would take for the people to get out of the street. Even during we had time, they were scared to get out of the street. Now we can't to about that time, they scare you. The people will do whatever they want. They do already make it clear. They're not going to follow no law. They are outlaw. So if the Liberian people just sit down there and allow the people to do whatever they want, they will do it. And the other people that are suffering, they will suffer. I'm not going to suffer. I got a family that's going to suffer. The people that are doing it, their family that's suffering. My family are here. The only thing I would say is that I hope the international community, and I thank God that Trump won, when he gets to it, he can do something about it. You got all the things for sure. If Baga do go with the majority black, trust and believe me, my money and my sweat will go to Washington. And I will follow the organization. I support sanction against Baga government for him to get sanction. I will do that. My money will go there. I'm saying it now. So if that's something about me, I do go Supreme Court statement. The Congress is very clear. I don't support sedition. I don't support nobody, but I support the law like that. But at the same time, when they will break the law, now I brought war, people down, let them chicken in the country.
All right.
So we're not going to go break the law again for other people to die again because Baga was to speak a shame away. I will accuse Baga and I will 100% responsible for what is going on in Liberia. Because he is the president, the same way we accuse him, we will accuse him too. The same way we accuse him, we will accuse him.
Okay. All right. Mr. K, thank you so much for your.
All right, thank you very much.
I do appreciate it. Okay, the guys are in already. Amen, Wharton, Kettle, and Terry Collins. Terry Collins, let me just put here good evening. Kettle, good day here. Collins, let me just start with the attack coming from Wharton Kettle, which of course you used to it already, but I want to get a quick initial reaction. Whether it's political or it's just the same old red meat. CEO, this he's been very, very much specific. This Terry Collins, the liberal, he's not a conservative, the liberal progressive want to be celebrity. And Mr. Jerry Washington, security expert, want to be political, have given us a bad leadership. This is as trumpet always blown on this network by this guy from Connecticut. Sunday, he come to talk to a man of God, and that's the first scripture. Whether this other version coming from the Bible or the new version of Wilton Kettle, new Bible or whatever it is. But anyway, gentlemen, good evening. You want to respond to it, you can respond to it. But I will be playing something here as well from Melvin Cole here today. Well, Terry, let me just hear from you. Now, everybody say they're going to Capitol Hill, they're going to be discussing budget. Kofa believe, asking Dixon Sibo, the team, to take a revision. The left-hand speaker, Cone, say they are prepared, the budget conversation going to get on the way. So the next question here, well, maybe the finance minister or who else, which group or who will they execute? Do you think we have come to a point now to the Waterloo of this whole king that somebody must act like a big boy in the room? And who should be that big boy?
Well, Mr. So, to Keto stuff, Keto got his own opinion on how he thinks things supposed to be. I'm not going to challenge that. I know that I'm not a politician, and I stick to that. I just want to give my view on how my country and support a move to transgression to progression for my country, and I believe that we made the right decision to put Honorable Joseph Yemaboga in power. We must understand that every government that have ever come since post-war Liberia have been challenged have been challenged to go to war. This is not the first time. During CDC time, during early time, CDC threatened that there will be war. So the war drum thing is not new. Even under President Weah, there were some people that threatened, like Yeke Koluba threatened the government many times on many occasions. There were other people who threatened the government as well. So, but what I see here is just the battle of people now wanting to work with you to save the country, resign. If you claim that you love Liberia, because what is happening here is that there are people who want to use Honorable Kofa to create chaos so that Joseph Boga government, so they can declare that Joseph Boga government failed.
So, okay, no. Let me just hold you right now. There are people who wants to use this government to make Joseph Boyka government to fail. So who are those people you're referring to? Do you know them?
The people who are telling the honorable man not to resign. Most of the people who telling him not to resign are, some of them are seditious, most of them have been talking harshly against the government, that the government is not working. Joseph Boga know nothing. These are people from the CDC-led government. So the best option is for Fonati Kofa to not resign so that the chaos can be in the house, so that they can use that as a conduit to create chaos. Like the likes of Mervyn Cole today, you listen to him. Is that strange for Mervyn Cole? I have not seen anybody, most of the media outlets and other people condemning Mervyn Cole's position. Because, Mervyn Cole was the same guy who, when the 47 or 48 men went to give the petition, he was the one who locked the door. They were the one who almost beat Tomo Fala. Mervyn Cole was the same guy who sprayed tear gas in the joint chamber when the legislature went. I didn't see media people condemning those acts. I didn't see them saying anything about it. This is the same Mervyn Cole. These are the people that say they're fighting for the rule of law. These are the people. So I really don't understand what's going on. These are guys who were on.
So, Terry, before I go to the other guys, before I go to the other guys, I haven't seen any report on that to get these people to say this is what it is. But you say if he Kofa wants to save the country, do you think the actions, is that a good precedent? Is that a good example? Anytime a group of people get together, the in majority say, hey, we don't want the police director here. Hey, we don't want the minister here, because they fuse in their way. That self-interpretation, this guy is doing something wrong, and they have not gone through investigation. They have not gone through anything. That would say for the good of LPRC or NPA, managing director go. Is that what you're talking about or what?
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about trying to calm and harmonize the situation, because the majority group in the house say they don't want you. Majority of your colleagues that you're supposed to preside over say they don't want you. This is
should they provide explanation why they should, because they are other. I agree they are in majority, the other group in minority. But if they say they do not want you, there must be a reason why you are not wanted, correct? Yeah. So should they give everybody an opportunity, because he's saying that he has done nothing wrong. So there are two opposing forces.
Granted. So that is why
so then how do they get a result? Let me go to the other guys quickly. Because for the
how do they
get
a result? Yeah. The best, that's what I'm saying. I'm one man, right? And I'm speaker. They're saying they don't want me as a majority group. What I can do to save my country after I have gone to the court have ruled. Some people say the court ruled in my favor. Another group of people say the court did not rule in your favor. And based on the opinion is that there's a divided view from all sides that people are saying that this particular court ruling is ambiguous. So what I will do, especially with the ruling of the court and my colleagues in majority is still stating, and over 1 month plus I cannot conduct a quorum, the best option to do is to resign. It's not about bluffing. It's not about how strong you are. Blah, blah, blah. It's about protecting the nation from going into chaos, because you are the one now that your own group depending on that once you don't resign, it gives them easy right to cause chaos because they're claiming that the law rule in a favor.
Let me ask you here. What was their reason of going to court? What was their ultimate goal going to court?
To find redress.
Redress. Do you think
they went to the court? Fonati Kofa went to the court so the court can rule in his favor.
Forever, who going, who not going? What I want to know, what was the ultimate game plan of going to court? Two or all get a confusion, we talk, we cannot find a solution, and we decided to push it to the Lord to tell us what is what. What do you think was their ultimate goal going to the court?
For the court to give interpretation on the law.
So quickly here, the interpretation from your own understanding, not the political side, but you as a Liberian, what was your own understanding from that message from the court?
I did explain my understanding from the last time.
I want to hear
reiterate that the court message clearly stated that, as I read, that we cannot, and I feel very sorry that even lawyers in the country can be arguing on the kind of thing. The court stated in the ruling that we cannot do for you what you have, what is within your purview to do. If we do that, we will be violating the Constitution. That's what the court said. Then the court, in its wisdom, gave articulation on the both articles. Article 33, the court said that Article 33 did not give the minority the strength to compel. It did not give the minority the ability, the ultimate authority of how to compel the majority or the compel attendance. And the simple, and one of the things here, Mr. Sofa, but one of the things here, many people say, oh, majority black is not in the Constitution. Nobody, it was we who also named these people majority black. These people named themselves simple majority. Simple majority is in the Constitution. Now, so the court is saying here that we don't see where you can compel. But what we can tell you today is that according to the law, what is defined is that the speaker, whether when the majority black gather or the minority gather, the speaker is the presiding officer. But the speaker is the presiding officer. When the speaker is absent, the deputy speaker presides. Which means...
Was the speaker absent?
But that is where now the ambiguity, because you have to tell me what it means by speaker absent, because sometimes the speaker can even leave and go into his office and the deputy speaker can preside. So absent is determined by who can conduct a quorum. That is where now these guys are arguing. And that is where the court is saying, we cannot do for you what you have in your own purview to do. So when the court ruled and said that any sitting or action that goes against the intent of Article 33 and 49 is ultra-virus, many people are attributing it to only the Sunni, but it was the speaker who filed a writ, and it was the speaker who was compelling the majority to come under his gavel. So the court could also be saying that the action of the speaker is ultra-virus, because the speaker is compelling people to come under his gavel, and there is no constitutional provision that allows the speaker to compel.
Okay, let's leave it there. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Collins. Okay, here we have Evans, happy Sunday, Keto. You listen to all of the Tabata again coming from from Minnesota this evening here. This is
that Keto called me. I recently Keto put my name to the play. I thought you were not even coming on. That Keto won't call me on the show. I don't know why you call my name.
I'll send it.
I thought you were not on to that.
So, look, Keto, let's see here. Let me see what I can play this, and you guys can react to it as well. Let me see. Let me see here. Let me see.
We'll give it to you. Nobody can run members of the National Patriotic Party from lawlessness. Nobody can run members of the National Patriotic Party from war, because we have experienced war. We have been part of a system that fought war in this country. So nobody can scare us. Only one man's blood will be spilled by a single bullet, and the masses will respond. And they will respond consistent with law. So now you come and challenge and say tomorrow, even though the Supreme Court has ruled that no, what you do, any sitting that you have will be unconstitutional, it's illegal, they say we'll go to the Capitol building. All of us will move to the Capitol building and we'll dance the political dance together. Only the strong will survive. We can guarantee that. This government want peace, will give this government peace. The government want war, will give this government war. The law of this republic must be respected by all persons. Thank you very much. And we'll do it. We are encouraging this government that Liberian people tired with war. That will
We will dance the political. You want war, we give you war. You want peace, we give you peace. This is a sitting lawmaker. That's what you see happening when things are getting above over the edge. Wharton Carter, let's hear you. That's Melvin Cole. Remember too, he's also been, according to the group, they're removing as how they call them, removing from his committed and expulsion or whatever it is. But let me get a reaction. See where we have gotten to this point. So we are just literally on edge. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't want to downplay anything. Every devil get his or her own follower. We will go to the Capitol building and dance the political dance. That political dance has so many implications. It can be violent dance. It can be something, because political dance we can see riotings and other things comes about. But let's hear you. How we got to this point?
Look, first I would like to greet the panelists here, Terry and my brother Evis. Welcome again. So Mr. Soul, thank you for having the show. So, the reason why we are here today is because of the lack of understanding, the lack of sycophancy from people that encourage these people to be together in the first place, to violate our Constitution. I can never, ever believe that I will be sitting down on a show to listening to a learned man like my brother Terry, or pastor, that will see A and call A B, that will see one and call one T. I can't even believe that I'm listening to Terry. And let me just forget about Terry. Maybe it's political and stuff like that. Maybe I don't understand. But lawyers, people that went to school to be lawyers, that cannot understand when they say once every 6 years, the House shall elect a speaker and the speaker shall be a presiding. They throw that one out. They say the speaker can be anybody. It doesn't mean when we elect this man, he's the speaker. We can move in another house and we can post somebody to be our speaker in the presence of the original speaker that is elected. These are the people that want us to understand their knowledge. Secondly, Article 33 states that whether you have the majority or minority, it should be presided by the speaker. Fanatic Kofa was in country. Fanatic Kofa was at the Capitol building when those people moved in a separate room to have the meeting. And then you say the speaker was absent. Just to prevail in bringing lawlessness in our nation. The people been warning you guys that this will cost this government a whole lot. Kofa is not bringing trouble in Liberia. My brother Terry said Kofa should resign to save Liberia from war. No. The people who support this group, they are in the majority from the Unity Party. This is their government. If they want to save this government, they must go under the Speaker Gravel and use the Constitution as prescribed by the Supreme Court to legally get the Speaker up if they so desire, if they can even obtain it. But as of today, we speak, Mr. Oso and Evans, the number that was considered 43 is number 43. I was only sure I told you. I say as long as these guys did what they did by electing illegally a speaker, those people who went in that place to affix the signature on paper, they wanted to put this saga behind them. They wanted the speaker to be given due process. The other people on this so-called or majority black, they have other motive. And when the guys saw it, they said, oh, no. We got to distance ourselves. Those people are going to sit under Speaker Kofa. And if Speaker Kofa got 37 people, guess what's going to happen? After encouraging the men to come, and they don't come, because that's what the law said. It's in the rules. They will send the sergeant at arms to bring them, to look for them. If they refuse because they think they got power, all the speaker has to do now is to call the plenary, through plenary, declare the seat vacant, and send it to NSC. The law will.
Okay. Thank you. So, Elvis, this now is giving us headache. Is there any strategy that is unknown? Is there any political maneuvering on the part of this speaker? He's been very conciliatory. Even the decision of the Supreme Court, we saw his tone, like they want to reach out. It's been misinterpreted as a defeat. But I think leaders must have that temperament to kind of navigate, to work out their differences. And that's one thing I saw from day one. I've been saying for Nati Kofa. He has been very composed. I didn't agree with him for the first time. His approach by taking to the media, and I say, and this is what that was a wrong thing to do as a politician. When you see having a small group of people doing stuff, then you should, and take it on here. Okay, so the show is about to take a shift, but you're going to respond. I know something is pumping you. You're calling, hold your peace after every, then I will come to you. Good evening, Liberal.
Hey, Mr. So.
Okay, just for your peace, everything on that way. Just listen because So, Elvis, what next do we do? What else? We want to the Supreme Court.
All right. Look, Mr. So, thank you.
Or interpretations in the simple language or what?
Right, thank you again. Hello to Terry and my brother Captain. Look, I'll use this analogy in this case that we can all understand on this platform. If a man is married to a woman, like my brother Terry is saying, the people for you, why you don't just resign for the good of the country? If you're married to a woman, it's your right to tell you don't want that woman, to tell that woman you don't want her anymore. But in that same breath, you can go take another woman and marry her. It's bigamy. You can get put in jail for it. If you don't want a woman, you have to go to court. There's a process of divorce. There's a process of equitable distribution of property or the fruits of that marriage. And you can follow all of those procedures to fully get rid of that woman. If you don't want to go for, you can just go and see what would move from there.
Sorry, Evans, what happened to your line? Let's hear you. It's kind of distorting. Are you there?
Are you getting me good?
Yeah, we're kind of breaking, but go ahead. I thought that the Liberal not send virus onto your phone. Go ahead.
Are you getting me good?
Much better, yeah.
Okay. Let me just adjust. All right. I hope you're getting me clear now.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm usually for divorce. Like you can ask for divorce, but you have to follow the procedure. You can't just get married to another woman simply because you announce that you're going to divorce. You don't want the woman anymore. Like Terry say that since people say they don't want you just
You want to go out and
that's
come
not
back? Evans, you want to see what I can log out and come back? I don't know. I don't know why the audio is erupted. Let me get you off and go come back and see. Hopefully it'll be okay. Okay, let me bring in the liberal progressive. Liberal, good evening. Happy Sunday.
Good evening, Mr. Soul. Good evening, Terry and Elvis, all of you guys. Good evening, Words of Content. Good evening. Happy Sunday to all of you as well.
Okay. Let's hear you. Where your happy Sunday ending?
Well, my purpose of calling instead of coming in tonight, I thought I'd call you. So this is, as I stated that a day before yesterday on your show, that this is, but then it was a little bit stated in a joking manner, and we laughed about it, but that's the truth. Many Liberians are just not ready to read more with clear understanding. And what is really concerning, I'm not too sure if the Supreme Court, if that was the intent of the Supreme Court, but in order for you to do these kinds of work, you have to understand your subject matters. In other words, the Liberians themselves, people who you're supposed to be making law for, or people who you're supposed to be interpreting law. You're not just interpreting the law to suit the lawyers who have the clear understanding of the law and who knows the languages. But you put us in a situation now where those of us who are not lawyers, we expect lawyers to come and interpret with your interpretation, putting words that don't even make sense, putting it in there, and all of those things, Mr. So it's very sad. I thought the Supreme Court perhaps would have done a serious job of trying to give us some clear understanding of what is happening. If the law is not there, if whatever these people are doing, if whoever is in violation, but you give us Article 33, you give us Article 49. The Article 33 is not even precise either. Article 33 is just as milky as anything that only lawyers can interpret those things and be able to understand it. So I think this thing here is just yesterday. I mean, day before yesterday, I said, well, it's making all of us to learn, but I think it's getting out of hand. And if any issue comes out that will put lives in jeopardy, I think the blame is squarely going to be on the Supreme Court. And I also believe that the Supreme Court themselves, if this thing goes south on us, we're all going to be affected as Liberians. They are not from Mars, they are not Guineans, they are not Nigerians, they are Liberians. They live right there in Liberia. So they saw before what happened. During the first Civil War, was Supreme Court in action? No. People were running all over this place. And it's something like it that seriously threatening the security of our nation. And you can't come out and clearly spell out what your intent is. If your intent is to say, I don't want to be part of this conversation, you in the House of Representatives go on and carry it on. You say so. But on one hand, you said they need to follow Article 49. On the other hand, they need to follow Article 33. Article 33, if they're going to follow that Article 33 that you mentioned, it does affect COFA. Article 49 that you mentioned does affect negatively. Now, does Article 33 negative does affect COFA. Article 49 negatively does affect the majority bloc. In that Article 33 is saying to COFA, you don't have a quorum. And these people have the quorum, but they don't have the legal means to have any kinds of presiding officer.
So then what is the confusion? You see, this is thing, that's why you don't want to come out, because you don't want to face the drumbeat. They having the quorum. The Supreme Court is crystal clear. Not just only having the quorum is one component, but you've been one-sided in this. So let me ask you this question, because you are getting to the point to start sounding so ridiculous as usual. You can't go in doing it. Do you agree with your friend, your buddy, Terry? You say your guy should resign for the good of the country? Eh?
No. Francis, at this time, I'm getting upset. and of course has nothing to do with my emotions and things like that. But Franti is sticking this thing out for the good of law. Now, what Terry is suggesting, this is the same thing happening to Dylan. I mean, not Dylan, but what's his name? Edwin Snow happening to Tyler. Now we're going to have this. You think it's going to stop, Terry? It's not going to stop. Unless somebody put their foot down and say, you want to remove me? I'm not here to stay forever. You want to remove me? That's fine. But you're going to have to remove me legally. Not by asking me to resign.
Okay. Look, Rod, I don't really have time for you here this evening. You try to avoid facing Elvis and Kettle, and that way you want to come through the phone here, which is fine. But let me ask you here quickly before you go. If you want to stick there, you can stick. Now the Supreme Court, Kings, you saying Supreme Court has created a one here and all of that here now. Who should be the principal decider of this thing here? We are hearing that Kuhn, the left-hand guy, is going to be discussing, Kofa going to be discussing, front page is reporting death threats and all of that. What is the game plan from the executive?
I think the executive needs to step in and break.
Who is the head of the executive? Don't leave her in the open here. Don't be.
Mr. So, you and I are not going to go through that. Who's the head? You know who the head. I say the executive, and I'm speaking in terms of the executive. There's not one specific person. The father of the nation is doing a wonderful job. So please spare me that tonight. I'm not here for Kumbaya. But let me just say this to you. Mr. So. The executive needs to step in and decide. Because once the executive decides, okay, these are the people, this is the group that I'm going to be dealing with, they have no other choice. Now, what these majority black terrorists don't understand, I believe, is this, Mr. So. If these people were to submit themselves, not submit is such a strong word, but if they can go and sit on the gavel of Speaker Kofa, and like the good lawyer Armo Boone said this afternoon, you don't have to do it now. Franti Kofa has already been tinted. Franti Kofa will never be as powerful as it used to be, even if he stays there. And Franti Kofa that I know will not want to do anything that will diminish his power. He knows the Constitution. He knows the power of speakership. Franti Kofa will not stay there when he knows he doesn't have the power to move around. So Franti Kofa most likely will leave. In fact, I would suggest that if these people will go and sit on a Franti Kofa will tell some of these people, let's get them the 49 so that the country can move forward.
Okay.
But it will set a precedent.
All right.
For the next time, you know, they're going to have something to type people that don't mean nothing good for the country, stealing everywhere and go out there and say, oh, you don't want me to see. You're not removing.
Okay,
That's
liberal.
what will happen next time.
All right, liberal, let me go to Elvis. You want to stay there, stay there. I'm not going to be like
No, I don't want to stay. I don't want to stay. I don't want to stay.
Liberal scared. Liberal scared.
You're not a good host anyway. Goodbye.
Liberal scared.
I'm just testing my microphone. I hope I'm sounding better now.
You see, you hear the other old man again? I'm not a good host. After I gave him over
Mr. So, how my microphone sounding?
Yeah, much better, much better.
Good. Thank you.
So let's get to the point. You heard the other old man, you heard what he's saying? I'm not good because we asking questions is now he try to push around here. So, but let's hear you, Terry. I mean,
no. Yeah, it was me. Just quickly, like what Mr. Toll said. You know, he shouldn't resign. Look, if you want to remove somebody, use the process. There's process clearly put in the Constitution and in their bylaws in the House to remove a speaker. If you have the numbers, remove him. If you try to circumvent that law, then you look ridiculous, you look disrespectful to the rule of law by trying to do something that is outside of your powers, like the Supreme Court told them. And that's why some of us would try to stay off these political shows, because we become disillusioned with this nonsense that's going on in that country. For me personally, I think we need to take 2 years. You know, disband government, or maybe we have to wait years from now, before the next election, rewrite our constitutions, put in, moral mores in our society, restructure our country and our identity to try to forge a new identity in that country, or else we'll keep doing the same rigmarole. Our country is, I mean, we're the least in the entire region. It almost seems like we can't govern ourselves. We lack the ability to govern ourselves because we have men, whether it's from President William Salif to now President, who wants to have dictatorial powers. They want to have absolute power, and this is what we're seeing right now. If he gets the House, he has a smooth sailing to put all his nonsense in the budget, all these little kickback deals that nobody will ask any questions about, and now he can have all the powers to really steal the way he intends to steal in that country. So this is what it is. Why do you think these guys are so invested in removing Fonati Kofa? If they intended to govern right for the Liberian people, Fonati Kofa, being in that position won't mean too much to them. They will pass laws that's in the best interest of the people. And if Fonati Kofa disagree with those laws, you can use the political weaponry that you have, the bullet pulpit, to tell Liberian that he's not in your interest, and he will lose political points with the Liberian people. But because they want to pass budget with their yellow machines, they want to pass things with their, Ayalolo budgets, they want to pass all kind of deals. They want their own crony to be there.
Okay,
they want their own crony to be there.
There's phone line here. I'm wondering, let me go to the phone line before I go back to Terry here. I'm wondering what are the call by Fonati Kofa to even his quest to audit the House. What are they has created this political vengeance and stuff like that? And even, remember, there was a first budget pass where he was in Fala there, and he said, no, it got to be revisited. But let's go to North Carolina. Man is on the line here. Good evening, Victor.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. So, and good evening to the panelists, Keta, Terry, and what's his name, Elvis. My point I want to make is in continuation from Friday, and I heard Terry say, if Fonati doesn't resign, is going to stall the progress of the government. So my question to Terry is, if he were advising President Bwaka, who he support, what would be his advice to President Bwaka on the issue of the ruling from the Supreme Court, one, and two, on what would be a political decision the president should make for progress on the issue of the horse situation. But here's what I want to say. I want to encourage the Senate. It seems that President Bwaka doesn't want his government to make progress. So I want to encourage the 15 senators from the opposition bloc. I support President Bwaka, but I want to encourage the 15 senators from the opposition bloc not to do business with the rescue senators, if and only if the Queen Black send the budget to them for concurrence. I'm encouraging those senators, don't do business with Yomri Kanga and Senator Dillon and the rest of the rescue senators. Because if a country that will have lawyers, thousands of lawyers in the country, interpreting the Supreme Court ruling in different form and manner, I don't think it's serious to make progress. Because if it's serious to make progress, the Supreme Court has ruled, it is best and better that we follow the ruling of the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court recognized the speaker. That's the first thing. If Fonati Kofa was recognized by the Supreme Court, I don't see the reason why we should be dragging this thing. The only thing I see here is if the majority guys who have not reached 49 saying that they don't want to work with Fonati, I would just encourage the speaker to see how well he can go around it to bring them back into the meeting chamber or whatever he can do to get them to work with him. That would be a good thing. But for people to say, oh, the best thing for the conference to make progress, Fonati should resign, I don't buy that. Even if I want him to resign, I will not be telling him to resign because I want the country to make progress. For the country to make progress, we should follow the rule of law, not for Fonati Kofa to resign.
Fonati Kupa is just one of 5 million people in the country. So if the Supreme Court rule, let's follow what the Supreme Court rule on. Thank you for the show tonight. I was listening.
Okay, you asked a question to Mr. Collins, so I believe you took note of Terry. Let's hear you.
Yeah, first of all, I'm not the president of the Republic of Liberia. And one thing we need to get is that government is political. It's all about political interests. And I'm not a politician, so I cannot really weigh in on that to the full capacity. But if I will try to say something to that is, the president is fighting for his interests because he needs a political, he needs politically somebody to represent his interests politically. That is all. So in a political battle, because the legislature is a complete branch of government all by itself. So the fightings, the president cannot interfere, because if he does interfere, it will seem as if to say it will be overreach. It will be overreaching. His hand is also will be declared as ultra virus, because he's over exercising his power by reaching across the aisle. But behind the scene, and I said this before, if I were the president, I would have called them to negotiate, because it does not present our country on the outside good. It does not present us good. And I do respect and recognize Speaker Kofa as the speaker. Let me make this position clear. I do recognize, and I still do call Speaker Kofa Speaker Kofa. I do not recognize Kun as speaker. And this is where most people don't understand me, and they take me because I'm not a politician. All right. But what is happening in the House is political. My position for Speaker Kofa to resign is on the basis of international credibility, international reputation, to save the state from plunging into chaos. My position for Speaker Kofa to resign does not come across as violent or as an imposition to his position as speaker. My fight here is that the Supreme Court did not clarify, did not do justice to the Liberian people by clearly interpreting to us in regards to what is the position of the majority black.
So quickly here, you say, get me right if I'm going wrong. You say your position, you do not want the speaker to resign, correct? Is that what you said, yeah?
No, I said my position is, I have been saying on this platform, and I still maintain that the speaker should resign.
Did the speaker do wrong?
He don't have to do wrong. Majority of the people that he presides over say they don't want him. You have been seeing the stalling of the country. The speaker.
Are you for the good of country? If somebody now accuse you, this is what Terry did, and this thing here will get Terry into a lifetime imprisonment here. For the good to save your reputation, are you willing to be convicted without being tried?
Mr. So, if we are in a group and I supposed to preside over you people, and everybody, 10 or 8 out of 10 come and say we don't want you over us, the best thing I can do to save my reputation is to resign. That is, I don't know about him, but I will, because what I'm seeing here is this. Most of the sedition do not want him to resign because they want to make sure that they would destabilize the country using his position to destabilize Joseph Boakai government, so his government can be ineffective, so they can say that Joseph Boakai can run the country. And that is my position.
If three of us on this live view here now, or of our PRL group here, if Terry, myself, create some kind of group chat right now while we're talking here, say, look, Captain Terry, let's get this action taken against Terry. This is what he has done. obviously will become a majority black right now acting, don't you think you will reach out to the other people and say, hey, wait a minute, this is why these people say we need to have a full section, or will you just agree with
First of
us?
all, I will prefer to negotiate. But once the allegations that you have against me, and that's what Kofa did not do. He did not negotiate when he came back. He went straight on spoon talk. Now, I will try to negotiate. If I can win you guys and your allegations you have against me is very strong, I will resign. Like the allegation, one of the allegations say that Honorable Kofa overspent his budget. Or Fast Check went to go and do Fast Check, and they found out that that allegation was true, that he did overspend his budget. And there are many other allegations that around surrounding him. In a civilized and genuine society like the great United States of America that we all know and other great countries, once those kind of allegations come up against you in a favorable setting, you will resign. And so the reason why today we're having two speakers in the House of Representatives, one left-hand speaker and one right-hand speaker, is simply because Speaker Kofa.
Where do you which of the speakers you want with?
I recognize Speaker Kofa as the legitimate Speaker of the House of Representatives. I said it on this platform.
So we don't have two speakers.
Yeah, we have one left-hand speaker and we have one right-hand speaker.
No, we got one speaker.
Yeah, we have one speaker, but as it stands in the reality, in the country, we have two speakers.
No, we got one
so,
speaker.
We got guys. One is the legitimate
speaker. Let him make his point.
The second man is the speaker who cleaned overnight and left for his left hand. But you can't say you're not recognizing the both that we have two speakers, because one is contending the position and he has been given immunities as a speaker, while the other man too have been given immunities as a speaker. So what I'm saying here is this. My position is that the Supreme Court was not clear in their analysis. They rained down a verdict. They said clearly to us that they cannot do for what we supposed, the legislature is supposed to do for themselves. In doing that is a breach of their constitutional power. And then, in view of the foregoing, on the basis of what they said, that is what I mean by therefore in view of the foregoing. On the basis of what they said, then they gave a conclusion by saying that any sitting or action that violates the intent. So now,
say that again, of the what?
They never explain the intent of Article 49. So the intent now is left with us to explain. So the people from Kofa Black are saying the intent means Kofa was supposed to be given due process. Then other people say the intent means because Kofa is the speaker, he's supposed to preside according to Article 33. So people are coming up with their own interpretation of what the intent of Article 33 and 49 is. And that is not what the Supreme Court said.
Okay, so all right, we're soon be closing it.
Hi, my microphone.
Before here, I don't know why your microphone tonight. What's going on with it? Now, are we setting an unknown stage ahead of this whole thing here? Remember, the Senate. That's a different playground there. The Senate the senator, the opposition more or less in majority. And one of the persons that have been writing heavily is Councilor Chief from Summer County. Now, are we creating another possible scenario where probably they're going to form a majority from the Senate, and Nyomli, who went on the white ballot, her job could be a danger as well? Because if this thing is not put, or if it is not properly handled. But quickly, before I go to this guy, before we close here, Terry, do you think the time has come for the executive or the president to intervene?
Well, I think it's overdue. The president should have intervened yesterday, like I said, like I've been saying, that the president should have called these people behind the scene, because by intervening is a sense of overreaching or something, but he should have called the people behind the scene to talk to them. But again, that like what the Supreme Court said, you are not babies. This is a whole branch of government that is responsible to make the law. And like I said on this platform, Supreme Court even added to my position that I said that the law need to be repealed. That's the only way, because Supreme Court is saying there is no law that that
Well,
show you
Mr.
how.
Show, you letting Terry talk the whole show. You're not even giving us the chance to
No,
talk.
I
the
tell you,
reason he's taking a defense, I'm going to come to you guys. We're
My
closing
brother,
now.
all of them
I
are
want to get people on record. Don't
including
worry.
all the
no,
comments
Terry
here,
talking
all of them
fire.
here writing
I think
against
Terry
me.
talking makes
So
sense.
I'm one man against everybody.
No,
You
don't be that way.
So y'all go ahead. I will listen.
You're not against everybody, not against you.
My position have not been
I
compromised.
just asking for a final comment before we wrap up. Almost 10 p.m.
Yeah, Mr.
So,
So.
so this is
So
Go
yeah,
ahead, Mr.
so
Yeah, my mic has been kind of bad. I don't know if it's good now. I want to come
It's
here and
sounding
chime in.
really good now.
yeah.
Look, let
So
me respond to Terry quick, Keta, because I really haven't had a chance to speak. You guys haven't been hearing me. Look, Terry, there's one speaker in the house. As you said, there's no left hand, right hand speaker. There's no such thing. When the people say in view, it means putting the matter, the ongoing matter, with addressing it now. Or the ongoing matter, which is the situation in the house. Terry, with all due respect, my brother, you're not a legal luminary. Don't be an
No,
ultra
I'm not.
crepidarian. Don't be a pastor and try to profess yourself to be a legal expert. Don't do that. Don't insult our intelligence.
My position. Say your own.
No,
I'm
I'm
not
telling you
attacking
because
your
you are
or
using these
as a
legalese
person.
and trying to
Speak to
explain
the
it
issue.
away.
Forget about pastor
The
business. That is
issue
what you
here
guys
is that you are
speak to
using
the
some kind
issue.
of quasi understanding of the law to try to explain away this illegality that's going on in the house. And you can't do that. You can't insult the
Let's
people
say
who's
your
watching
own.
you.
Don't
You
try
can't
to
you
attack
can't
me.
insult
Tell
the
me, say Terry,
intelligence or
yeah,
insult our
you
intelligence
wrong.
on the
you
show. You can't do that,
guys,
Terry.
But don't bring
We
pastor
have
business
one
like
speaker.
Terry,
on here talking all kind of
Terry,
crap. I don't have
Terry,
time for what they're talking.
Terry,
Deal
Terry,
with
you
it.
won't be
To
best
the issue.
brother.
Forget about my
We're
professional
try,
background.
Terry.
It
we're
have
telling
nothing to
you
do with the
how
issue.
it is.
Hello, Terry.
Yeah,
Just hold your
sorry.
peace. If there's any specific thing he talks about, you want to respond to it in your closing, you can do that. Go ahead, have it.
Right. So we're speaking to the issue. For you to say that a person who is a politician has the right to be authoritarian, as we're seeing in this Boyka administration, a man who doesn't respect the rule of law. Anytime the Supreme Court rules against him, he goes to try to circumvent the Supreme Court and do things the way he wants to do it, like a wannabe dictator. And you're telling us that he deserves to have political people in his interest so that he can get his agenda across. Is that what you want our country to be? Follow the rule of law. This president do not follow the rule of law, and you are accusing seditions that they want to destabilize this government. Who destabilized the government? When you went and put out the assets recovery team, which is a vla, nothing came out of it. When you went there and removed people, when the Supreme Court told you can remove them in the position that the CDC were doing it to destabilize your government. When the military whites went in the street to protest for their husband pay that the CDC did it. Don't put blame here. This is how people get people killed because once something come in the country, you say, oh, that the people didn't did it, even though you know it's not the fact. So don't spew rhetoric to target one group of people when there's no fact to back up that assertion. So like I would say again, we're smart enough people to understand what the law is saying. Some of us were not on this show regularly, so people can just come in and talk, carte blanche, and nobody can push back on them, adequately. For me, Mr. So, I will tell you this: CDC has nothing to do with this. It's Joseph Boyka who's trying to strong arm his way because he feels like he's in the presidency. He's trying to use any means possible to get the speakership so that he can loot the country the way he and his chairman want to loot that country. And people like Terry is standing here backing him, trying to twist himself into pressures to justify what Joseph Boyka is doing. We're not going to stand for it, and you're not going to use the CDCs as a scapegoat. We're not going to accept it either. Thank you.
Okay, Captain.
So, Mr. So, and my brother Evie just hit it. Look, Terry told us straight up front the intention of Mr. Boyka. The intention of Mr. Boyka is to control the house, to have control over the house. So, his men that are in the house, in majority, in the so-called majority group, are the ones to be blamed. The United Party supporters who are over there are the ones to be blamed for any insurrection, instability that will happen in this whole case. You cannot put the blame on Speaker Kofa. You cannot ask Speaker Kofa to resign because he, according to you, he posting threat. If he doesn't resign, it means the country will go into chaos. If the country will go into chaos, it will be because of the people who want him out. The law said, and Speaker Kofa has been clear all along. Get me all? it's your right. But we got to go through due process. You got to go through the law. And let me tell you something. All of the allegations they brought against Speaker Kofa, if they were legitimate, if they were real, these guys would go and sit on their gravel and do the needful. They know they are all bogus. Nothing in those stuff that makes sense. This is the reason why they changed from the account they had against him to no vote of confidence. You heard it all along. We can't work with him. My brother, you in America here, you don't have to elect me to work with me. We got to coexist and work in the interest of our entity. That's all the law say. You don't have to elect me. I don't have to even speak to you. But when it comes to our job, we got to get our job done because we're getting paid. And who paying them? The Liberian people tax dollar. You don't have to elect me. I come, Mr. Go ahead.
No.
Keto, serious allegation, no remove speaker. 49 members remove speaker.
Hey,
So
but even
when you say
49
they got
members don't
serious
remove-
allegation against him, he should resign. That's not how it works.
This is the thing. 49 just don't remove speaker. The people keep putting the narrative, that process. You have to have a cost. The Constitution says you have to have a cost. 49 putting your girl say we let you go. No. There should be a cost. And that the due process. If we come here and say, okay, look, we don't like the labor or we don't like Mr. So conducting this show here, we have to give a cost. Why we don't like him? Maybe he gave Terry 10 hours to speak. He gave you myself only 1 hour. So what is justified by the board that yes, it can be verified that Mr. So did this, then they can say Mr. So now you being partial, get on the side. But until then, if the board found that Mr. So didn't give Terry 10 hours and give one meeting, all our team will do, even though we're the majority here, nothing will come for out of it. So the thing about it is due process, and these guys are not willing to go through the thing because why? They want this government to control both houses so they can loot the state covers. And that's exactly what's going on.
Okay, so see, we're coming out here today. You know, yeah, and I will help you. We always my man say here, Zio, you are good today. Keep it up. The bad person here this evening here seems to be the liberal. But in my kindness, not to leave voices behind, he called here. He said, as a bad host, but he called him back, and maybe he wants to make a true confession. The liberal.
Yeah. Look, Mr. So Terry, please don't listen to these sedition. These terrorizing sedition. They got nothing on you. Don't let them push you around. Don't let them get you upset. Don't even listen to them. Terry coming.
Neighbor, I made enough for myself. Don't worry about me.
That we're not in Medford telling fantasy for Evans to rule it out. This is like real public radio. Hey, we're not talking rock and roll. We bring Evans on. Please, Terry, please don't listen to that. And then as far as Walter Carter is concerned, you see, Terry, you see what they're trying to do? They're not even arguing your point. They're trying to say Joseph Baka is this, Joseph Baka is that. Don't listen to them. See, these things they're very good at putting their foot in your mouth. And we know that. So I'm asking you, Terry, don't listen to them. This is the platform for every one of us to express ourselves. They can come in here. One of the things they can't make it with you because you have a taste scheme. Everyone got that. I know my not going to make it with you. You do that. Ever will make it with you. I beg you. Don't let them move you. Let me say this here to Mr. So. It is on your platform that you have sedition coming up and telling me the father of the nation intent is to loot the country with his children. When we were successful in removing the looter in king, and you're going to come and tell me that this president, this government intend to loot. Unacceptable. Unacceptable, Mr. So. This platform should not be used for CDC and what have you. I tell you, it's supposed to be a free thinker platform. And you're going to bring sedition on board. When I'm not on, you're going to come and take control of the show and try to get to Terry. Terry is speaking his mind. He's entitled to it. Why are you attacking him? He's entitled to his mind. You have to disagree with it. But make it personal. It's not business. Mr. So, good night.
Don't run
I think
away.
my
Don't run
I think
away.
my statement really had a liberty. He had to go in to defend Terry real quick.
You see, we'll always allow them to show themselves. You see, this guy, he's one of the political. I'll try to figure a war here to this Sunday, so I will try to contain myself. On the other side here, he waving a white flag to Joseph Boyka because his own. Don't call Joseph Boyka's name. When you call Boyka's name, that feelings gets into him. At the same time, we don't even know what he's saying. He will Kofa, he will Boyka, he will Liberty Party, he will this party. This is a complete rejection. People rejected him. But anyway, guys, I think it was a good conversation. Um, Terry, I think there was a lot of bulletins. So we're going to be doing a closing now. So just respond to whatever comes your way. But again, tonight, were you treated unfairly, Terry?
Huh?
Were you treated unfairly by the host
No.
tonight?
No, no.
Has been claimed by the liberal. Do you agree with him?
You are a professional journalist. That's what I like about you. You know how to conduct. This is why this network is
More than liberal. Can you reach that part?
No, what? You see, you won't put me in something I can't handle. Situation I will not be able to handle.
That more Ali.
Let me take more Ali phrase. You know, but here is the thing, right? I listen to Elvis, blabbing like a baby. The thing here is that CDC, Thomas Fala, made the majority black legitimate, brother. That he from where? He from CDC. Since then, Jefferson Koji then, when the time y'all was supposed to protest and do something for the people, what played Jefferson Koji then when they went to Buchanan to celebrate? While they were drowning for Nati Kofa. Where were President Weah? President Weah was in Europe. After the people have elected the Kwasa speaker, that when he came back to the country and said he going for y'all. Do you believe that? And guess what? President Weah was on the phone when talking with Thomas Fala to the speaker when Thomas Fala was planning to move into the majority black to legitimize them. Then you saying here on the network, just one little baby, that Joseph Boyka government did. What make you so angry with Joseph Boyka? What did the papa do to you that you so angry that I can see the anger in you? That you won't bust the whole entire. If you had a chance, you would jump from the Tony account to me. Let me tell you something, right? In a political arena, any opportunity you have, you will take it. A political arena is not. This is not a children play game here. In a political arena, people can die. It's a life and death. It's a life and death situation. This is not a play children thing. People can die. You saw what happened during the elections. From both sides, people died. So any opportunity another man see, he will take it. So Joseph Boyka is just playing along with the political scenario of the day. If the people in the House, which happens to be the first branch of government with the separation of power, as you said from the Supreme Court, cannot conduct themselves the way they're supposed to conduct themselves, Joseph Boyka, as a politician, will use the opportunity to do what is the needful. You're not supposed to be the one to be talking to your people, to be talking to your sedition, saying, look, CDC, you need to come. You talk about people stealing money. Who stole money more than anybody in the country? Well, you were just walking to central bank taking money and all of that. Then you're talking about Joseph Boyka government stealing money. Okay. All the money then what you've been taking. You see your people, other than God sanction. They sanction what you didn't respect yesterday. That now you're praying for international community to bring it on Joseph Boyka government. That's why I say. Then when people want to they start attacking their position because you feel when you attack weaken me to start crying like baby. Oh yeah, you trying to that thing do not face me. It don't face me.
Okay.
You can it don't face me. All the right things that people doing here, it don't face me. That's why I'm not
okay.
Necessary.
So Evans, let's get a closing and go to Keto.
All right, Terry, thank you, my man. I think what I said really got to you. But let me assure you, anybody that knows me knows my mind is far beyond my age. So you can call me baby all you want, but my mind is far beyond my age. But let me tell you this. Joseph Boycott went and got, I know, 285 machines that he wanted to bring in the country for somewhere around 40 to $50 million. We told him it was illegal what he was doing. He didn't go through the procurement
$87
process.
million. 87 million.
Right. He didn't go through the right channels to do it. He tried to put it in the budget. It was denied. It was denied. Joseph Boycott tried to put, miscellaneous spending of something like, I think, like, well, I don't know, $5 million in the budget for what nobody knows. Couldn't explain it away. But Najib Kofa rejected that budget. So when you come here and try to tell us and lecture us about who stole, fine. I agree. There was corruption in the CDC government. It's not a cop out for you to be corrupt yourself. If you came to be the change, be the change. When we see you being corrupt, we'll tell you you're being corrupt. Joseph Boycott is corrupt to the core, to the bone. And he's trying to use this office of the speaker to be even more corrupt, carte blanche, without no guardrails to stop him. That's why we're speaking up against it. Terry, I'm an aggressive person when it comes to talking. Like Formula said, we can let use our mouth to talk because our mouth is not gone. I'm not fighting you. I'm not blowing you. I'm not punching you. I'm speaking words. If I say in an aggressive manner, respond back with words. So don't try to accuse me or try to pin me in any kind of lie. I know where you're going, but I'm not even going to go there. I'm an aggressive person. Pin me however you want to pin me, Terry. I don't care. If you want to come here and kick for your grandpa, Joseph Boyka, we will attack him in the political space any chance we get. You can get vest all you want. You can pump your chest and beat your chest. We don't care. This is a free space. We will speak how we want to speak. If I speak in a tone you don't like, respond to me in words. That's all. But Mr. So, thank you so much for allowing me to come on the platform. I'll try to make sure I free up my schedule to be on the show more often because
What
this is
are
the kind of
the,
things, yeah, this is the kind of things that people like. They want to have carte blanche and just
you saw
speak.
the
And when anybody
label,
push back on it, they get vest.
you saw the old man too on the network, personal attack on you guys. After he finished telling me good night, he called back purposely. He sent me a text. I'm coming for Elvis and Keto, they are sedition you brought in. So they do not want to hear the other side. The thing they are the owner of the country, and so they want to sanction voices. They do not want to, once you not speak their language, their tone, you are enemy of the state. Somebody brought it up. Keto, let's hear you.
Yeah. So thank you, Mr. So for the show. I will respond to my own old man, Mr. To the liberal, progressive, want to be celebrity, and to my brother Terry, the pastor, want to be politician. Look, let me tell you guys something here. The good thing about our country is we have people that are standing us speaking in this dispensation. We got network that allow people to air their voices. We will not allow anybody to sanction our voice. The fact of the matter is, you guys promoted a bad product on the Liberian people. You guys saw Joseph Boyka as he was an angel, a man of great integrity, a man that knew everything, a man with vast experience, only to find out Liberian people, only to find out that we got a buffoon, a complete buffoon as a president, a man who will go to dedicate a dilapidated clinic and call it renovated clinic, a man who will go and write letter to the Senate and tell them that his friend saw his vision to connect Liberia, and his friend was giving him machines, only to find out it was a lie. A man who will go and tell the Liberian people that he has secured over 50, I don't know how many $1 million for scholarship for 225, whatever, 250 students to come abroad to study. Only to find out it was a 419. This is the man of experience. And then you topple it with ignorant arrogance when you got people sitting in the first branch of government that's supposed to be making laws for our country. The very laws they make They don't even understand the law they make. Even though the interpreter of the law interpret the law to them, they are running with their own thing. Unfortunately, for a sound man like Terry that preached the word of God, for a liberal progressive that come on this platform and tell us how roles should be done, that tell us how he designed preachers, and we are so fascinated by his speeches about his know about engineering, for him to come on this platform and tell us that a man who is not even competent, inept, if they had another word that is even greater than the word called inept, we will put on Joseph Boakai. They tell us that man is the father of our nation. He's doing extremely well. I feel sorry for our nation. I feel sorry for our nation. Joseph Boakai has caused our nation the worst ever. This is the worst president in the history of our country. The worst. For his first year, for a man who Terry and promoted to be the man of experience, for the man who Terry and said he has integrity, for the man to even implore his nephew, Nimade, Francis Nimade, that killed people in Lofa County during the election. That Francis Nimade, up to today's date, Joseph Boakai cannot even call his nephew that has been accused of sexual or allegation. He cannot call him to say, look, my man, it tarnishes my government. He talking about this is a man of integrity, and you want to talk about stealing? Stealing? We're not calling it embezzlement. Joseph Boakai told his able lieutenant, Crispin, when he was not even president, to get 5 cars from NASCAR. 5. His own radio station, the promoter, brought the news up to the public.
Okay.
Today, Crispin is still hanging with Joseph Boakai. The Bamaka Bennett is still hanging with Joseph Boakai. The Cooper still hanging with Joseph Boakai. Look,
All right, get her into the second.
Let me tell you something, Terry. There's no way, when we're talking about the issue of Liberia, President Weah had his time, he did his. You people came, you preached to Liberian people that President Weah did nothing. You will rescue this nation, and we will hold you accountable. We will hold your feet to fire to rescue this nation. Any mistake you make, we'll bring it down hard on you. And you don't put President Weah inside because this is the reason why you took him out. Thank you, brother. So
all right, guys.
May God bless you and bless happy hour.
If I can spare maybe like a minute or two before you go, I forecast that whatever, depending on the outcome, if maybe the executive moves in the directions of this so-called majority, which most likely seems to be the case, there are a lot of indicators that this executive somehow inserted herself without even waiting for the justice system. Part of that was to send the budget to the majority group, majority black, whatever they call themselves, is part. But this is what is coming from, quite interesting. The chair on judiciary in the Senate, I forecast this budget, whatever the case, potential problem could be erupted toward the Senate, and the budget will be heavily contested. This is Honorable Augustine S. Chair, Senator of Sano County, Chair on Judiciary Committee at the Liberian Senate. This is what he wrote. We got here. What are the takeaways from the Supreme Court's decisions in the HUR, that's a House of Representatives case? He had a lot of critical points here. That this court's interpretations of Article 33 of the Constitution 1986 is that whether a simple majority is sitting or a lower number, in both cases, a presiding officer defined in Article 49 of the Constitution is the Speaker, and in her absence, the Deputy Speaker. His takeaway argue went on to say the Supreme Court interpreted Article 33 and 49 of the Constitution as written that the Speaker is the presiding officer. Article 49 that the presiding officer, that the Speaker presides over plenary sittings or section of the House of Representatives, HOR, whether it is simple majority that is sitting. A quorum which can hold sections at least or less a lower number which cannot hold session. Article 33, the sitting of the session must be presided over by the Speaker, the presiding officer. So the issue of the presiding officer, all indication we're seeing is Speaker. The Deputy Speaker presides in the absence of the Speaker. That is when the Speaker is not at work, when the Speaker is not at work, or if he asks the Deputy Speaker to preside. In this case, I might want to find out whether official communication, whether Speaker Kofat requested Deputy Speaker to file out to proxy his affair while he was not at work. We're here to see that. Or if he recuses himself from presiding. So the choices are there that, okay, I don't want to be in charge of the Deputy Speaker, go ahead. That's the chair or in the Senate Committee on Judiciary. He went on to say that in the event where the Speaker is presiding over the minority, as in this case, the court devoid the mechanism for how the minority is to compel attendees of absent members. His takeaway argued that the court acknowledges that if it is without authority to delve into the merits of this issue because it has no constitutional authority to do so, and as the court said, rightly so, the Constitution does not provide for how absent members should be compelled to attend plenary session. Therefore, it remains a political question until the Constitution is amended or the legislatures enact a law or a rule providing for how this can be done. Read blah blah blah. He been doing a lot of writing. I've been following him. The judiciary chair. This is a lot. This is a lot. But from all indication, we can see the outburst of what all is going on in the lower house. It might take a different trend when it goes to the upper chambers. That's the Senate. And don't be surprised. It looks like there are a lot of people are not happy with what is going on. So we don't know what going to be the reactions of the Senate. We all know the composition of the Senate in terms of their representation. That could be a little dicey stuff. Elvis from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Terry from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Terry, these guys then try to do they try to be very strategic to test the Holy Ghost. So you see them every time they're talking pastor, they want to see whether the Holy Ghost get a temperament. Keto action is deliberate.
So
the pastor.
We the pastors are more criticized. So we used to it's just a bulletproof. So that one not anything. And so actually,
especially when it comes to offering, the pastor they can hear offering people, pastor
right. So pastors in the third generation are the most criticized people, but the people can leave and honor the pastors. Everybody is on the other church.
All right, guys. We will wait and see.
Even President we was standing on the pulpit preaching the other day. Didn't talk about him. So he's a pastor too.
This is for all the people who Terry can be preaching against when you go preach on Sunday. You know, some people want to sit there and chat and say, hey, I didn't mean talking about me today. Everything I want to say to you, they can say we're saying it for them today.
I accept it.
You call it again. Don't mind him.
No more call, Mr. So. No more call. Let go for that.
Be check on him, Mr. So. Be check on him later on because I made that so bad. You help.
The message pressure go on. Let you eat turkey. You will come down. Okay, look, Elvis try to make time. I think we're going to see. This is quite interesting. But thank you guys for this Sunday. As usual, Mr. Collins.
In politics, there is no cheering. You want to do politics, you got to be able to face the bullet. And that is what it is. Joseph Boca, you know what hurting Keto then? They say the people are going to die. That the one hurting Elvis then too. That's why he can be talking with all his being on the next thing. The jackal of you. They say the people are going to die.
They may almost feel inauguration day. The other person come here, but be worried about it again.
The surprise now is that the people are going to take 10, 15, 20,000 heart blood cells. I know what? Bypass surgery. The old man is fit when he get in the morning, he put a heart. he be walking there and nothing happen. They stay with it.
No
Now the one I can really be hurting y'all get 6 years to
Don't hurt your head. I hear what happened.
Long President Boyka, you might just stop. You will just not let you steal the poor
your tears
the
just
country money
started.
now.
6
Gentlemen,
years.
good night.
Thank you,
Good
Mr.
night, guys.
That
Thank
money
you very
get
much.
serenity, our money get serenity, but bring it back like all Hussein.
Oh, hey, Elvis, Keto, stop that. You saw him paying money to Sierra Leone. Bye. Okay, guys, folks, we want to thank you, all of our viewers, the listener, follower, your contributions, your tweets. Mona, thank you so much. Fatu, Esther, the Breakable, Mr. Let's see here some of the comments here. It's George Withers, Mr. Galut Ba, and of course, a lot of you here, it's your interactions, your comments. You know, the comments on the live views, civility, a lot of good selling points, everybody expressing their views, what they think, the directions of the country, how they feel about the country, which is good. Stephen Sla, the majority black, need to get back to, this is what Mr. Sly is saying. It is the majority, you need to get back to your base instead of telling to the speaker to resign, but you recognizing what sense does it make, you see? So people speaking, I hope happiness coming. Okay, thank you so much. Happiness coming, your comments, your tweet, tell Lion Tear, Monanta, you get a lot of great point here. Hopefully it's John Maulo. Hopefully it's wherever you are. I'm not sure where you are at. You will show face here too to make your voice heard as well. And that's what we're saying. We should not leave these conversations about Liberia to own it in the hands of the politician. We have to speak out as a people, as a nation, and as a country. We saw what happened with early this morning in Syria and all of that. The world now, you listen to Representative Mervyn Cole, because people feel their civil liberties, their rights been trampled on, and people are trying to bulldoze their way through. So I don't know if the Supreme Court speaks and we lawmakers will not listen, and they still want to do it their own way. They're just simply telling you what you did was not done. It was not done right. So it means something is missing. There's a missing link. They want to connect. They want you to connect, get it done, and everybody will be fine. But everybody now is arguing, no, they're doing it their own way, they're interpreting. So we don't know where the executive going to find herself. We respect who they're going to be dealing with to do business with. So this is well, and I think the Supreme Court has played a part. And for the Liberal to call back here to be as ridiculous as he good at being always, that the Supreme Court can't tell you how to wear a diaper when you know you're supposed to wear it to go to bed, and you don't put it on. That's your business. These people, they are lawmakers. That house should be a house of wisdom. But apparently we have elected people that are politically driven, that do not even have the guts to stand up against their party, against their leaders, and stand for some value, to moral value, to no ideology, nothing. If it doesn't go their way, no one. So this is we'll wait and see. As usual, every week there's some sort of unusual drama in the country. And they enjoy doing that. They do not know the consequences of these things. It drives away the investors. It creates some sort of cloud apprehensions as to whether the stability of the country is guaranteed. And you want your government to succeed. So I don't see a government that will want to fire in their own light to deep a pit. If you find out if it is not done, maybe they need to go back on the drawing board. And I said that. You can clearly see this was orchestrated, and except that it was done, the format, the method they used was wrong. So it brought in this sort of backfire. What you see in most cases here, when the Senate or when the House tried to do stuff, the majority leader, in this case, if we're on the opposite side, in the case like a Senate confirmation, whatever it is, they will do all of their review, do all of the study to make sure that they have that number, they have that vote, and they will give the due process. We saw when Matt Gaetz When that intro-party stuff started with Speaker McCarthy, we saw how the House clerk presided. The Speaker recused himself. And we saw the presentation, the arguments of both people. We played that your courtesy of PBS and people, you go on YouTube, you can see that. How everybody argued their point as to why they want Speaker McCarthy to be up. And we saw the live votes, the yield, the nail process before he would even kick out. But all of a sudden, we just wake up, people came from hotel, jump outside, whatever we saw them just running, the other guy came and just put his left hand up, being inducted into office. How we got to this point? Where this breeding ground, where it started from, and why nothing was done, and yet even gone to the executive. I think Kofa has been peaceful in this process. Whatever he did, whatever wrong, he went over the budget, they elected him. They should have taken everything into consideration before even casting a vote, whether he provide consultancy, LPRC, this PRC, all of that. They should have taken their consent to consultancy. And I think we in the media industry have a greater portion to make sure the real message descends on the people. Unfortunately, that has not happened. The media groups were heavily involved influencing the votes of the people. So the questions that needed to be asked, those questions that are being asked, now the same guys are scratching their head now what we got ourselves into. So this is how it has become the institution that should serve as a conduit to inform, to educate, and allow people to make informed decisions have become the referee, they have become the match commissioner, and they are already putting up the jersey to take the penalty kicks. And that's exactly what we see happening. Civil society, zeroed. Advocacy group, submerged, underwater. So guess what? The ordinary citizens are left vulnerable. And these leaders are getting away, doing anything they want to do. Every other day, the country is on edge. Every other day, there's a potential security standoff. So that also, they don't know the implications of that. The businessman, the investor who was trying to make a trip there, they'll go online, they see all of these variety of potential confusions, insecurity, doubts, apprehension. Then guess what? The people who own their businesses on their trip, I say, hey, no one wants to put their businesses in harm with. No business person wants to do in making a business. All they want to do is to gain. And they found out that the security of the country is not guaranteed. They would never go there to go invest. And even those who are there now you are talking to, if they come to realize that their sort of political tension is breeding, they're going to pull hold to what they are doing. So no government in their right mind will or should find it as a pleasure to create a political insecurity. If the president has never intervened, the president, the executive have not taken the decision, now is from the judiciary. There's time for the executive, who are the executioners to power, to constitutional thing. When the court takes a decision, it's time. Will we see that happening? Who will the executive deal with? Both men, are they all going to go there tomorrow or the day after? Be in different sections to argue about the budget, and where will this budget be going to now for deliberation? These and many more are just too much unfolding at the same time. And watch this. If this is not properly handled, trust me, there will be a potential to some sort of political insurrections in the upper house, in the Senate. Don't be surprised when you see that happening. Until then, I want to thank you so much and have a beautiful, beautiful Sunday by God's willing. The Liberal will be back here tomorrow is Monday, and we're going to have these conversations. Let's take you to Greater Liberia with a take-home song. Have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.
wo lo ne mo lo ne mi mo mama mama lo ne ma da lo ne ma o lo ne ma da lo mo ye una mo lo ne mi mo ngaba de go ya lo ne ma ngaba de go ya lo ne ma